Albert Einstein was one of the greatest scientists who lived. Born in 1879 in Germany, he lived for 76 years before dying in 1955. He is best known for his theory of relativity and specifically mass-energy equivalence, expressed by the famous equation E equals mc squared. Einstein received the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics for his services to theoretical physics. After a decade of thought, with entire years spent in blind alleys, Einstein completed his general theory of relativity. Overturning ancient notions of space-time, he reached a new understanding of gravity. Space and time have fallen from their absolute status. They are both created through the act of perception, and so belong to the relative world of experience. This is not to imply that they are not fundamental to our experience. They are the dimensional framework within which we structure our mental image of the world. But we deceive ourselves when we assume that they are also fundamental to the underlying reality. In proposing his theory, Einstein postulated that the speed of light was a universal constant. However fast you may be moving relative to a beam of light, you will always measure the speed of light to be the same, that is, at 186,000 miles per second. Even if you are moving at 99% of the speed of light, a light beam will still appear to travel past you at the same speed of 186,000 miles per second. Although this is totally counterintuitive, scientific experiments have shown that it does indeed seem to be the case. This raises two difficult questions. How come the speed is always the same? Also, why is light so special? When we distinguish the image of reality from the underlying reality, the apparent constancy of speed of light takes a very different nature. According to Einstein's equations, as an observer's speed increases, time slows down, and space in the direction of motion contracts. In other words, as you travel faster and faster, time slows down in that direction within which you are moving. At the speed of light, time has slowed down to a standstill, and space has contracted to a single point. So the faster you are moving, the slower the time changes, until you reach the speed of light, in which time stops altogether. Although no object with mass can ever attain the speed of light, Einstein's equations predict that it would then have an infinite mass. Light itself does, by definition, travel at the speed of light. From the light's point of view, it has traveled no distance and has taken no time to do so, as it takes up no space. In other words, light does not exist in the space-time domain. We only perceive that it exists in this domain. This is a scientific fact which can be researched for yourself using the internet or books or anything else at your disposal. This reflects a unique property of light in the space-time continuum. There is no separation between the emission of a light ray and its absorption, what Einstein called the space-time interval. Between the two ends of a light ray is always zero. However, when we perceive the world from our human frame of reference, we do indeed observe a separation between the two ends of the light beam. The exact amount of separation depends upon our speed. We could say the act of perception stretches out the zero interval and divides it into a certain amount of space and a certain amount of time. Since the total interval remains zero, the amount of space created exactly balances the amount of time created. For every 186,000 miles of space, we create 1 second of time. If this is getting slightly confusing, then do not despair, as an example later on will help clarify things. What we conceive as the speed of light is actually something completely different from the light's point of view. This, after all, must be the most appropriate perspective from which to consider the nature of light, not our matter-bound mode of experience. Light travels no distance in no time, and therefore has no need of speed. What we take to be the speed of light is actually the ratio in which space-time are created in our image of reality. It is this ratio that is fixed, and this is why in the phenomenal world the apparent speed of light is fixed. In order to be notified of my next video, please remember to hit the subscribe button and also remember to turn on notifications.